Okay, everyone, welcome to the BS Sports Podcast. My name is Brad, and joining me is Taylor.
Hey, how are ya?
We are absolutely pumped to be here. Due to popular demand, we are doing a podcast. I think there was 3 people who suggested it. So
I think it was more us wanting to do a podcast than by popular demand.
Yeah, talk me through it. So so Taylor, this is her baby, other than Harper, who I'm sure you'll hear about across the podcast, who's our 2-year-old. But
I have three children. Podcast, Brad and Harper.
Oh, thank you very much. Cheers. Good start. We don't fight. In all seriousness, why a podcast? Why are we doing this, and what's it all about?
Why are we doing a podcast? Yes, I guess it was my brainchild. I suppose the main reason I thought we should do a podcast for our business is that I think I wanted to be able to give everyone a chance to have access to information to help improve their lives, their sport, their performance. And, unfortunately in life, not everyone has access to everything. So the programs that we do offer, specifically like our TAP and our TAP Elite programs, which are about athlete development at the moment in football, we have all these amazing coaches that we work with that specialize in their own fields, from tackling coaches, nutritionists, strength and conditioning, like physiotherapy, injury prevention. We have all these amazing people that we have access to, that people that can do our programs can work with and then be connected with after. But then there are always people that can't afford to do our programs, or whatever the barriers are that they have.
We're only in sort of southeast Melbourne at the moment, so there's plenty of other people who want to improve that sort of side of things, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, and they might not be something similar to our programs in their area, and so I just thought that we have access and we have relationships to these amazing people that can help people improve their performance and their mindset, their mentality, help them look after their bodies, and all of that. And how great would it be that people have some ability to access information? So no, they may not be able to come and do the programs physically, but that doesn't mean they can't sit there and get information from these experts. So I suppose that's the main reason why I wanted to start the podcast, was not so you and I could just ramble on about stuff, but to be able to interview people, get their knowledge and share that with a wider community, so they can take information and then be able to apply it to their own lives, even if they can't access our programs.
Fantastic. No, absolutely. And yes, it's all about elite athlete development, coaching development. Some of the guests we've got coming up have great specialties in these fields. So what an opportunity for them to, obviously share their experiences, and then, the younger generation or don't have to be young, but someone who is really thirsty for knowledge, they can access these people. And I think podcasts are a great way to do it, because I love on my long drives, I love not just listening to music, like listening to other people's experiences too, and seeing how I can implement them into my lives in sport. Fantastic. So for those who haven't met us before, I'm sure the first handful and hundreds of listeners will be the ones that we know. But for those that don't know, Brad and Taylor Sykes, thought we'd do a 5 in 5.
Sure.
Not the 5 out 505, like I've heard Billy Brownless do on Triple M, but a 5 in 5. So 5 questions, you got 5 minutes to answer it. So a minute per question. Good maths?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Perfect. All right, so I'll start. Do you want me to do all? You don't. These are questions without warning either. You've got no idea what I've written. So
yes, we're both written. I think only one question we both are going to ask each other that we know, and the rest we don't know. So it's very much like putting each other on the spot.
That's right.
I think we should alternate rather than doing you do 5 straight and I do 5 straight.
All right.
I think it's more interesting.
We'll start with the would you rather that we both know we're going to ask each other, and then the other 4 questions will alternate.
Sure.
All right. So hopefully we can both answer this in 5 minutes. It's a short 15, 20 minute potty here. So, all right, Taylor.
Yes.
Would you rather having copious amounts of talent in a sporting context,
yes,
with zero work ethic or very limited work ethic, or the opposite. Lots of like effort and hard work and work ethic, but struggling on the talent front.
Yeah.
Go.
Definitely the latter. I don't even need to think about it.
Really? So
yeah.
So you've never been an elite athlete like you were, or do you think you can still be an elite athlete if you don't have talent?
I don't think it's that black and white. Like, I think to some degree you have to have a tiny bit of talent. Like, I don't think you can have zero talent, say, in a sport, and then have all the work ethic and then be an elite athlete. I think to some degree you need some amount of talent, but I would rather be someone that maybe doesn't have ridiculous amounts of talent, but I have a really good work ethic and I'm really dedicated, and I'll do what needs to be done to improve. And I'm always like, I would rather be an athlete that's always searching to improve myself rather than the opposite, which is someone that has stupid amounts of talent, and because they've got stupid amounts of talent, everything's pretty easy for them in terms of, people paying attention to them, or them making squads or teams, and then maybe not having as much work ethic because they've never had to work to be noticed to make teams, which for a lot of athletes that have a lot of talent can then be their downfall later on because they're not willing to do the hard work to keep improving. And the people that have maybe less talent but heaps of hard work and good work ethic and dedication often catch up to them because they put in those extra hours.
You definitely see that happen so often in the AFL field for sure. Very good answer.
Yeah. So flip it around to you, what would you prefer? And I'm very interested in this question because we're two very different individuals when it comes to how we roll with our sports and the athletes.
Yeah, that's right. I'm probably more of the. Having said that, as a young kid, I definitely worked very, very hard on my skills, which I think help your talent. I think if you've got the fundamental basics, yes, you need some natural hand-eye coordination, but that can definitely be learnt, in my opinion. So I definitely would rather the work ethic piece for sure. It doesn't mean I am that person, like in sport and life. Not very organised, but I definitely value that aspect of an athlete. I think as a coach now, you definitely would rather have a player that you know what you're going to get from an effort perspective, and what they're doing away from the field or court or whatever you specialise in. For me, it's AFL. So yes, definitely reduced talent and ideally a 50-50 split. If you could have someone who's got that natural ability and a fair bit of work ethic, I think that's the ideal athlete in our sport. But for chess, it might be different, or for for I think you need a little bit of both. So that's it. Second question: what is your proudest achievement as a sportswoman?
Oh, my proudest achievement.
This is you as the athlete, not you as helping an athlete.
Yeah, okay. I think I have two which kind of tie into the same moment, but I'll explain it. But so I think my proudest achievement, part A, is being able to represent Australia in karate at the World Championships. And for those who...
Which year was that?
2007. So I was 17. I was in year 12. Remember it like it was yesterday, even though it wasn't. It was a long time ago. And for those that don't know anything about karate, so karate is not in the Olympics. It was in the last Olympics because that was in Japan. That's where karate originated. So Japan were allowed to pick it to have it in there. It is no longer in the Olympics, and it definitely wasn't when I was competing. So the pinnacle of karate to compete is the World Championship. So being able to make that team was... Stop kicking the table. I'm trying to explain to people my proudest moments.
Sorry, new table. I don't know where the legs are.
So for me, that was definitely my proudest moment. being able to achieve that and also, represent my country. That's, I suppose, every athlete's dream, if that's a possibility. But part B to that is, I think, the part I'm even prouder of is that year, and maybe even the 2 years in the lead up to trying to make the team to compete at the World Championships. I faced heaps of challenges. So even though our divisions are weight divisions and things like that, so we're all pretty the same in terms of our size and weight, I was always thought by coaches who were selecting the teams, and they were always telling me like I wasn't strong enough, wasn't tough enough, I wasn't going to be able to hold my own out there, and I was going to go over there and get my head punched in, even though it's a semi-contact sport. And they just basically didn't have any belief in me, even though at that time I was winning almost every event. Then the year of selection for World Championships, I got I broke my toe. So I couldn't train for a while, and that was right around the time that we had our national selection camp. So I actually was at the national selection camp with a broken toe, doing all my fight-offs, doing all my training. And when my parents tell the story about that weekend, they always, tell people like they knew that I was like in like a crazy headspace that I've never been in my life. Because I'm not one to get like really emotional in sport, and like if I'm angry, I never show it. I'm just very like business as usual and focused on the task. And during my fight off, I was just so angry that I was fighting on a broken toe, and they kept making me fight all these people from different divisions. It wasn't even people from my own division. And I was just getting so angry that they just kept testing me, and I had a broken toe and I was in so much pain that every time I'd come off from the mat at fighting, I would just cry. Then I'd take my gloves off and throw them because I was so angry, which I never did because I was never that person, and karate's all about respect. But I made it through the weekend with a broken toe.
And that's pretty important in karate. Like your asset, from what I hear, was definitely your kicking. So it's not just being able to fend off and punch and get the 1 points in the in the bouts, but I'm sure you would have been in a lot of pain.
Yeah, but you're also bouncing up and down on your feet.
Yeah, true.
So and
balls of your feet,
moving around. And if you're not bouncing, you're not as agile. You're slower to move. But by the last couple of fights, I don't even think like I registered any fear of anyone hurting me, any pain. I was just going out there like kill mode was my mindset. Like I was like, whatever, get on the mat, kill time. So I made it through that. Then they said to me at the end of that weekend that I was selected on a tentative basis, and that I had to prove myself in a fitness test because I did have a broken toe even though I'd made it through the whole weekend. And then the end of that weekend, I started to feel really sick. A week later, came home, I had glandular fever. So I then couldn't train because I had glandular fever. Those that don't know about glandular fever, if you don't rest, it can then manifest into chronic fatigue. So got through that. Again, they were saying, okay, now you've had glandular fever, you definitely have to pass a fitness test. And I was really lucky. My parents were always my biggest advocates in sport, and they knew how hard I worked, and they said to them, that's fine, she'll do a fitness test, but I expect that everyone else that's been selected has to do the same fitness test, and if they don't pass, they don't get selected. They then said I didn't have to do the fitness test, but I did go and work with a sports medicine doctor anyway, and did a whole bunch of testing just to make sure that they were happy with my fitness levels, where I was at, did a VO2 max test, all that kind of stuff. And passed, was probably fitter than half people that got selected, and made it, which was amazing. Got to train for a month in Belgium, which was the best thing ever. But also highlighted how far behind Australian karate athletes are compared to other countries. We're kind of like the African swimmers compared to Australians. If we're like doing comparisons to give you an idea, we're very far behind the 8 ball. But amazing experience. So I was, I think, more proud that I overcame so many challenges and I kept persisting to make that team, because that's how much I wanted it. And there was almost nothing that life could throw at me that I wasn't going to try and overcome. So that's mine.
Wonderful. I think we'll rename the segment 5 and 55.
Well, sorry.
No.
You can't ask a question that then cap how long I have to talk about it.
Well, that's what was the idea. But in all seriousness, that's well worth listening to. I think one of the key aspects of our podcast will be setbacks. I think every guest we have on, whether they're an elite athlete, currently, past, whatever, I think that's something that intrigues everyone because we all face setbacks in life, don't we?
Yeah,
and
100%.
That's, I've heard you talk about that a fair bit, and I think that's probably why it feels like yesterday, 16 years ago, because you draw so much energy, and potentially the reason you had glandular fever was the high stress you put yourself under just upon reflection. You worked your body and mind so hard to get through that hard aspect, but for you to bounce back and go to Worlds after a few setbacks, it's no wonder you're so proud of that.
Yeah, so that's me. All right, question number 2 for you. Do you have any regrets in sport in terms of your sporting history? I wrote sport/life, but it's more sport podcast, so let's go sport. Do you have any regrets in terms of your sport, what you did? Do you wish you did anything different?
Great question. No, not really. I think back to my teenage years. I played most sports, most ball sports, most team sports. I know you were an individual athlete. I did tennis, which actually really helped my sporting, like relying on myself to do the work. When you play a one-on-one sport, as you know, it's you versus that person, mind, body, everything, soul, just mind games, whatever it takes. So I really liked playing. I was going to say the regret I might have had was not focusing on footy as much during my teenage years, but I think the other sports helped level me out a bit. No, I'm pretty happy. Like I feel like the decisions I made around my extra work, because things did come relatively easy to me as a young athlete. I was able to make teams that I wanted to and all that sort of stuff, and probably my height wasn't the only sort of physical attribute I would have liked to have changed, but you can't do that.
Certainly no.
But like 18, 19, playing VFL, going okay. If I had put a bit of that extra work into the gym and all that sort of stuff, who knows? I've got the belief that maybe I could have made the elite level, but by the same token, the other connections, the other friendships, the other things that I was able to do, and where my life is now at 32, I think I'm wrapped with how things have worked out. One of my beliefs back then, and still now to some degree, is elite athletes have to be really selfish and have to have a real tunnel vision on life to be able to be elite at what they do. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice that, whether that's a cop-out or not. I don't think so. I'm such a people person. I'd hate to think that people thought that I was better than them and I was choosing my life over supporting them. That was probably something not a regret, but I would have liked to have made an elite team, but not to be. Maybe the Masters.
Maybe.
Maybe when I'm 55, I'll go to the Olympics.
Elite Masters athlete or something.
I'll win the 5K walk or something. I'm wrapped with where I am now, but to hear that about representing Australia that you were able to do, that would have been amazing. But
it was very cool.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. To be an elite athlete, you have to be selfish to some degree, but also, I don't know.
Dedicated.
You got to be dedicated.
Sacrifice.
I wouldn't feel like, yes, probably there was elements of selfishness in my life, but I think it was more, for me anyway, it was just how much I had to give up more than being selfish. So it was just, I think I was still, really social. I still was there for my friends and family, but it was more, did I go to someone's 18th or 21st, and if I did go, I wasn't drinking. That was my thing, or I'd go and only go for an hour or 2 hours, because then I had to go home and train the next day. So, but again, a lot of athletes maybe wouldn't even do that. Now that I'm older and I'm doing sport again, I'd go out and try and do things, and it doesn't work too well for me.
No, I'm just I'm not a doctor, as you know, because I don't like study, and I'm sure we'll discuss that.
You hate study.
But glandular fever once again. If you try to do too much,
Yeah.
your body gets run down, and then so the sacrifice that you have to make to be an elite athlete, it might be just not being out till midnight, even if you're not drinking.
Exactly.
So sleep, all these things, yeah. Is it my third question for you now?
It is your turn for question number 3.
Ooh, what are your top 2 values that you like to live by in life?
Oh, that's a good one, but also tough. I'm no good at choosing.
Yeah, that's why I did 2, because I thought if I did 1, you couldn't choose that.
No, you're right. And even 2 is still probably too hard. More so too, because I love like strengths and values in terms of like the work that I do. So I love being able to like help other people identify their strengths and their like top values. I think one of them would be optimism in terms of like a value. Maybe that's a strength, I don't know. But just, I suppose like something I value a lot in my life is being able to be optimistic, but also like realistic. Like kind of having them both go hand in hand, but out of, optimism, pessimism, realism, I'm probably more optimistic than anything. And having the ability to, even when things are really shit and I have a lot of challenges or not feeling great, whatever it might be, being able to try and find a positive lens on something, whatever it might be, and like going, yes, this situation is crap, but this is a silver lining for that. So I think that's one.
Yeah, no, very good. Like being optimistic and looking for the good in a bad situation, that, potentially growth mindset, or just the lens, the reframing, the perspective on life. I think that is, you definitely live by that, because life isn't sunshines and rainbows all the time. If it is,
Absolutely not.
If it is, it's scary, because there must be like not the pessimistic view, because I'm very optimistic, as you know, as well. But I like that answer. Anything else?
Yeah. This is so hard to choose. I think the other thing that it's hard, because like I value like definitely relationships. Like that's a big one for relationships, community, but maybe on par with like valuing like hard work. I think they're probably like, I don't think I could choose between those two, because they're both like, I don't feel like I would have gotten to where I am without the hard work that I put in. But also at the same time, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am without relationships and my community that I have. So what? You got a smile on your face.
It's just like, I thought you were going to say I wouldn't have got to where I got to without.
Oh, you. I like that everything's about you and that's what you think. But no, I got to a lot of places before you even entered my life, Sunshine.
Allegedly. Before the internet.
Yeah, okay. So the internet doesn't count, apparently.
So relationships, but also work ethic,
Yeah, and I think that comes down to like, I value them so much because it's helped me achieve things that I want to achieve. Like I have a great community, and like I've got really good relationships with people, whether it's family, friends. We know a stupid amount of people, which probably goes down to both of us, that being our values. But also just being willing to go, if I want to do this, I'm going to have to sacrifice things. It's going to be hard work, but I'm going to do it because I want to achieve it.
Great answer.
Sorry, I gave you 3 because
did.
I'm terrible at choosing. You know this about me.
So work ethic, relationships, and optimism.
Yeah.
Great values.
Yeah. I kind of want to know yours now, but they're not part of my questions.
Maybe next week.
I'll have to write them in my notes for next time. Okay, what is your motto / philosophy in terms of work and life? Obviously, it's going to relate to sport, so I didn't feel like it needed to be or just tie it to sport too. But like, what's your motto? What's your philosophy? Because
what's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you? Hakuna Matata.
That's exactly right. Timon.
Because we're slightly different, so it intrigues me. And we've spoken about this a number of times, but I kind of want you to talk about it again.
I've got 2 mottos.
Tell me.
And it's like been like years and years, probably 10 years at least. What am I, 32? Yeah. So sort of since I started in this field of sport development mindset, it's be the change you wish to see.
Yes.
And I think Mahatma Gandhi might have said something similar. Maybe be the change you wish to see in the world, I think he said. But that quote definitely rings true to me, because so often we bicker, not you and me, but in life we live below the line, so we look to blame, deny, justify why things are happening in the world, instead of us actually looking in the mirror going, well, if you want there to be change, you have to be the change. You can't rely on someone else to change it for you. It starts, and it almost links into my other motto, which, if it is to be, it's up to me. Once again, it's about not sitting. I'm a believer in destiny and fate to some degree, but you can't expect that to happen for you if you're not willing to put in the work of putting yourself in the right position. The harder I work, the luckier I become.
Yes.
There's another saying, it's another motto, but it all ties into, essentially, if you want something, go and do it.
Yes.
Don't sit back and
Hope
finger point and hope for the best. Like, because I'm a true believer that is not the way. I think, so they're my 2 mottos, essentially. Be the change, because if you are the change, then really it succeeds or fails because of you, and that's okay. Like, that, you can live with that. You don't rely on someone else. Fourth question for you: what is your dream, or who is your dream guest on our podcast?
Who is my dream guest?
You're going to choose 3 again, are you?
Oh, why do you always give me questions and I'm going to choose things? You know I'm notoriously bad at choosing.
What a great opportunity for you to grow.
I have grown. I can now pick a TV show for us to watch without not being able to choose between the 2 of them, which, for reference, is currently Drive to Survive. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's the best. Okay, my dream guest. I feel like... I'm really torn. I'm torn between 3 people.
I knew it would be 3.
See, I'm shocking. And I think some you guessed, but others you maybe wouldn't. So...
They'll be all females, I guarantee it.
Actually, no.
Okay.
I know I'm a bit of a feminist, but it's not about gender for me in sport. It's just about who they are as a person and what their values are as athletes. You would definitely know Tia Toomey is one of my dream guests.
CrossFit 7 times or 6 times?
6 time, I believe.
World
I want to say 6, yep. Tia Toomey, not just because she's Australian and, Aussie pride represent, but I just think, and I've never done CrossFit. I'm one of those people that I like the idea of it, and if I was younger, I probably would have done it, but my body couldn't do it now. But I'm obsessed with CrossFit, as you know, and this weekend is the CrossFit Games again, so I'm excited to watch that. But in watching how she's developed as an elite athlete in CrossFit, obviously she's used to be a weightlifter too, but in the first couple of times she went to the CrossFit Games, her mindset was really bad. And, she still did well, but fell short. And, when they were filming her and things like that, she was always doubting herself. And when they'd ask her, how do you think you're going to go? Or how's this? She'd be like, I'll probably suck at it. And so her negative self-talk was so prevalent. And then it's like one year you just see this absolute change in her mindset and how she talks about things and her levels of optimism and her having some self-belief, and then she just crushes it for 6 years in a row and becomes the most dominant woman in CrossFit in the world.
So it'd be cool to unpack that with her.
Yeah, as a mindset coach and someone who's starting to be a sports psychologist, I just think that's so fascinating because she's been on both sides of that. So definitely her. Number 2, Paddy Mills. Again, our mate Paddy, Aussie pride, love him. Just looks like a ripper human, great athlete. But what I love most about him too is just the kind of human he is. So how he is with his teammates, I feel like he kind of brings teams together. That's kind of his role as well. It's not just about his sporting ability, and then what he does outside of sport. So every time he's not playing NBA, he's back here helping kids and helping communities and just giving back, which I think is absolutely amazing. So I love that. And then the last one, Matthew Fraser.
Yep, another
CrossFitter, most dominant male in CrossFit, maybe 5 times. I think he's won less than Tia after he retired. But love him. Again, I've watched heaps of documentaries on him and just watching the CrossFit Games, and I've never seen a harder working human than this guy, which just like, I froth that shit. Like, so bad. He will just like work himself, even if he's alone, to the brink till he's about to pass out, because his motto is like, no one will outwork me. No one will have worked harder than me. And I think now he's got his own business, and his business is literally called Hard Work Pays Off. So he's the epitome of, if you work hard, especially as an athlete, it's going to pay off. Like, it's insane. So they're my 3.
Awesome. Great guests. I love that.
Yeah.
Echo. Obviously, I don't know as much about the CrossFit Games as you do, but in terms of Paddy Mills, awesome human. I think he uses his platform, and yes, his natural ability and his hard work, but he uses that for real good, which is fantastic. He's someone that I just would be just a genuine human being, and that'd be amazing if someone could wrangle that for us. Thank you.
If anyone's connections, can you tag Paddy in this?
Great 3 athletes who are, I suppose their personal traits are bigger than their athletic traits, which is what I think sport should be about.
Yes, absolutely.
My question.
My turn.
I like asking the questions. It's good.
You like asking them, not being asked of you.
Correct. Who would have thought that?
Too funny. Okay, number 4. Very stock standard, but I'm very intrigued. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? We're in a job interview right now. But honestly, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Life, sport, work, business. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Doubt I'll still be playing football at 37.
Lord, I hope not. I hope not. If you're still playing football at 37, we may not be married anymore. FYI, we're married. We're not brother and sister.
Oh, yeah. Probably should have started that from the top, Maybe the intro can have like wedding bells or something, or our first dance or something.
No. Oh, that was terrible. No one wants to relive that moment. But yes, we won't be married if you're still playing football at 37.
Okay, well, I'm not married. I'm playing football.
Living his best life.
Traveling the world.
Yeah.
Great question. I'm not a big doer of that.
Planning,
organising.
He's not a doer of planning.
Not a doer. I'm short-term focused, absolutely. Because
sure, you've thought about it. It's like some stuff, even if it's not a concrete plan, things you go, that could be cool, or I would maybe like this someday.
Yeah, I suppose let's put it out in the universe. I'd like to do what we're doing on a bigger scale for sure. So either within our wonderful country of Australia, or doing some things in some developing areas in sport in across the world. So I'd like, obviously we've got a 2-year-old, like I said from the top, so it all balances in with that. So she'll be grade 1, grade 2, which would be nuts. But I suppose from a work perspective, definitely continuing to do what we do well, but in new areas, and empowering others to do a bit of the work that we like to do as well. Because, I think if we pay it forward and allow other people to do some work in this field of sport and mindset, working with young kids, working with some kids with autism as well, understanding elite athletes and what makes them tick, all the different aspects of our business, would be amazing if we could do that on a bigger scale. So let's just say Tuscany in Italy. Is that where Tuscany is?
It is. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're notoriously terrible with geography.
If we're in Tuscany, and I'm 37 because I said this, it'll just
That'll
be
be creepy.
my new motto will be like,
I think Tuscany's very wine country. I don't know about sport-wise, but you never know.
that's all
The
right.
Tour de France goes all through Italy and France and those regions, so you never know.
Wine barrel racing, that could be our new sport.
Barrel racing. Oh my god.
Fifth and final
last one for
question.
me.
What have you studied and studying, and what is your dream sort of, where do you finish? What's your end goal as a person studying in this field of mindset?
Oh, okay. What have I studied? Do you want like as in everything I've studied or just like my main thing I've studied? Okay. So I have studied a Bachelor of Counselling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a qualified counsellor. And originally when I got in to do that, it was not sport focused. It was that I wanted to help people. I'd done a lot of volunteer work with young kids who had very traumatic lives and wanted to be able to help young people, more in depth, and whether that was through sporting communities or if it was through schooling or outside of schooling, that's what I wanted to do. Bachelor of Counselling, I worked for 7 years in a high school, recently have left to work full-time in our business, which I'm very sad about because I loved counselling in schools. So I have studied that, and then I suppose from meeting you and the work that we've done together in our life kind of reignited the sport side of my life and my passion in a different way. So yeah, that's very much changed now to, as much as I love counselling people, I really am so passionate about helping athletes and their development and things like that. So I'm actually currently studying a postgrad in psych. So I've started that recently with the end goal of, once I finish that, doing my master's to then be a qualified sports psychologist.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. That's exciting.
No plan after doing masters to do PhD. I can tell you that right now.
Fair enough. Lots of words. You're a mother.
A busy woman.
Yeah, you got a bit going on. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And just before you ask me my question, what are you doing at the moment from a physical point of view? You're at the gym 3 hours a day. What are you up to?
I mean, it's 2 hours a day, but that's,
travel time,
still a lot.
Talking time.
So I am currently a bodybuilder. So after I stopped doing karate a long time ago, I didn't really do anything too competitive. I played netball for a couple of years where we re-met and my love began. But then stopped that after I had a baby, and just realised that I really miss doing competitive sport, but also as a mum, I needed something for myself. So for me, I love going to the gym and I love sport. So why not use that me time to be doing sport and doing something for myself? So yeah, I've been doing bodybuilding, category bikini bodybuilding. So when you think about it, it's the smallest muscly woman, not hugely muscly because I'm not very tall. So that would just look weird. And so I have my first competition in October. So I'm currently in prep for that, which is a very interesting and awesome experience.
Oh, you're doing a great job, and I think over the first few episodes of the podcast will be leading into that competition in 10 weeks' time. So it's very, very exciting.
If I seem lost or dazed or confused, it's because I have prep brain. So please don't hold it against me. I promise I'm a smart individual.
It's a real thing. Like you're very dedicated. Yeah, absolutely.
How many times the other day did you have to remind me it was Thursday?
Yeah, 3 times within half an hour.
Yeah, it was bad.
Next level.
Okay, so my last question for you is, what is your favourite part of your job? The thing you enjoy the most with the work that we do?
Whoa.
Tuffy?
Yeah, that is a Daryl Tuffy.
You're welcome.
I think Daryl Tuffy played cricket for New Zealand,
I have no idea who he is, so I just assume it's another person and I'll end up saying his name in context to what.
Stuart Jew.
Yeah, just like Stewie Jew. Stewie Jew for some fun.
Oh, wow. I love 2 parts, I think, is definitely hands on the deck with the kids on the footy field, seeing the growth and development happening before my eyes. Like, so the one-on-one or small group sessions that we do, seeing the it's not only just the physical attributes, but the confidence and our goes, oh wow, like I can do that now. Like the amount of times I hear I can't, or I won't, or I'm not good at that. All these maybe what Tia Claire was like.
Negative self-talk.
But now seeing them believe in themselves and the improvement in half an hour, that's definitely, you can't sort of buy that when you can impart some of your knowledge onto them. But also I've really, as we've grown and built our school holiday clinics into 30 locations, I think I really enjoy giving sort of some other athletes the opportunity to lead and be able to run sessions and learn and develop their leadership skills with kids, parents, other coaches. I love seeing them similar thing, have the confidence to develop and do their own thing and put their own spin on things and sort of empower them to be as their own selves within the structures that we know work. So yes. I love that as well, and it really allows me to work sort of on the business instead of in the business all the time, because that way we can reach more people, more kids, more potential elite athletes. So yeah, they're the 2 things. I'm like you now, just can't answer one.
Yeah,
they're the 2 things I like. Like I like seeing the kids' development firsthand, but also like helping other people develop so they can help more kids develop, if that makes sense.
That chain reaction.
Yeah. I think they're the answers there. So I'm really pumped for this podcast.
Me too.
I think I could, as people who know me, I could speak for hours about this sort of sport mindset. I've got a brain here. I'm not sure if the cameras have picked that up.
You could speak for hours in general, let alone about
prefrontal cortex, cerebellum.
Look at you go. Maybe we'll have to get you into some more study.
Maybe, we'll see.
Wink.
Bloody pumps. I know you'll like the first guest, and our second guest is just as good too. So
they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We're excited for that. We actually filmed our first guest first before we filmed our intro, just because they were free, we were free, and we're excited to get it done.
They paid us to be on it.
They did.
Just joking.
But yes, very excited for this podcast. I think it's going to be a really great time. As we spoke about, we're going to have some awesome, amazing guests who just have so much knowledge they can share. So if you're an athlete, if you're a coach, if you're a parent, you're into sport and you want to learn and you want to help grow and develop, and this is hopefully for you. Doesn't matter if you don't play football. We're not just about AFL, we're about all sports.
Absolutely, cater for all sports. And I think like I do when I listen to podcasts, I listen to things that aren't really in my wheelhouse of knowledge, but you can always leverage, pluck things that really work in your life. So I think from my experiences, people involved in sport make the best leaders. They have to deal with a multitude of people and personalities. So I'm really pumped to hear from these people, and definitely our focus will be on youth development, but there'll be so many other parts of our conversations that are worth sort of picking up. And if you know of anyone who should be on the potty as well, feel free to flick us a message on Insta or Facebook, because sure. Just because we don't know them doesn't mean that they're not very worthy of expressing their knowledge. And we'd love to get more people on board. So
100%. So if you know anyone, let us know. We'll be happy to check them out and get them on board.
So for now, thank you very much, guys. Can't wait to be in touch in the next little bit, and stay classy, San Diego.
Yeah, good one, Ron Burgundy. All right, catch you soon, guys.